Hey everybody, how's it going? We're back here with Summer Game Fest 2024, doing a talkover stream. Unfortunately, schedule stuff seems to have gotten in the way from others joining, which may end up also meaning we're not going to co-stream much else that's happening this weekend, unfortunately. But we'll do fine. I've literally got a document here of games that are going to get announced. Wait, where did I? Oh, I must have closed it. That's how it's been today. I've been trying to do things and just doing them stupidly. This seems to have gone up just fine, so that's great. Um, yeah, I was watching the Gorilla Collective, writing down all the games that are on there, and there's way too many games. Um, so I'm not gonna do our little show notes for the podcast as like a whole thing here. Wait a second. Yeah, go. That's There we go. I'll have a new file here. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what's going to be shown. I was just looking at, yeah, I'll go to the Twitter page because they've been talking a little bit about what's going to be here. I believe it was a retweet of the Skate account on Twitter that suggests they are going to be here. There's something like people have been spreading unsubstantiated rumors about M Corp, whatever that is. Yeah, we've had enough. Tune into Summer Game Fest tomorrow as we address all the completely unfounded rumors about M Corp. And so, I assume the new skate game will be shown off. Uh, what else did they have here? Yeah, Hyper Light Breaker we'll get a good shot at here. Maybe a date that's been in the works for a while. That'd be good to see. What else? I think the Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, I believe, will be here. Oh, they're gonna have another trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds, which, sure, that's still surprising considering they just showed off a bunch of stuff last week. But let's see. Oh, Unknown 9 Awakening. We'll get another look at. It seems like. Slitterhead, yeah, I've seen that. We'll get a gameplay trailer premiere there. Let me see what else here. Yeah, Day of the Devs is after this show, then Devolver. I don't believe we'll be streaming those because I would like to have some dinner. Seems like we'll get a new trailer for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Bloomhouse Games will announce a game, so that'll be fun. A new Dune Awakening trailer. Yeah, they did this teaser trailer of a bunch of stuff that they're hinting at. Yeah, it shows Astrobot. Yeah, there's Sparking Zero I'm looking at. I should probably find a way to get this on the stream, but it's gonna start here in less than a minute. A Batman thing? Is that the VR Batman game that I guess is a thing? I recognize Helldivers 2. What's on here? Unless these are just ones from... No, because Sparking Zero's fully revealed earlier this year. There's Star Wars Hunters... Or not Hunters, Outlaws. Hunters just came out on the Switch after years of waiting on that. Alright, here we go. Let me see if there's anything else I need to do here. I don't think so.
Please welcome to the stage the creator of the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley.
turn down just a little bit, but I think we should be good. Okay. There we go. Jeff Keighley. Hopefully he does not have to deal with people rushing the stage this year. The Game Awards went pretty well on that front, so
you ready to see some video games?
that should mean everything's good. So
We are so thrilled to be here with you, and this is a showcase of what's next for games live from the YouTube Theater here in LA. Now, if you're watching this show, first of all, welcome. I know everyone around the world is joining us for this special moment. And I know if you watch this show, you don't just play games, you deeply care about this art form and the health of this industry. The good news is that we have a lot of amazing games to show you from creators around the world over the next 2 hours. But let's also face it, this has been a tumultuous and difficult year.
Oh, he's actually going to mention this stuff this year.
Closures, which have disappointed all of us. But there's also something else happening. Our industry is evolving and changing. And thanks to digital distribution, smaller teams and new creators are finding incredible success. Take a look at this list from Game Discover of the top 10 best-selling new games on Steam so far this year. 2 of them are considered, big company games, but the other 8 come from indie, mid-sized teams, or solo developers. I look at this list, it's pretty cool, right? And I get inspired that new ideas, new teams, and smaller creators can and will break through. It's a reminder to big companies that they have to treat their developers right, because today there are many paths to sustainability and success, and that's what makes this industry so great. And you'll see that reflected in the show today, because over the next 2 hours, we'll have big franchises on stage like Star Wars, Batman, and Harry Potter, but also smaller titles, including a few games made by single individuals and first-time creators that we invited to be part of this show because we think this platform is important as a way to show you new things that you might not even know about. So when you see a game that piques your interest, please wish list it, or even better, send it to a friend and get them excited. That's how we together can grow the gaming community. And we are going to do that today over the next 2 hours, as we have a lot of games to show you, plus Day of the Devs directly after with even more indie titles. So should we get to the games? All right, it all begins right now. Here's our first announcement.
Next.
Hey, look, this is a hot dog guy auditioning for the lead and unannounced action game.
We see you as more of a sidekick.
Oh, sure, I get that a lot, but check out my range. Okay. Rage! Empathy. Oh, hilarity! This guy! Straight! And what game is this anyway?
Hey, neat costume. I gotta get me one of those. Ooh, sandwich. Sorry, gotta go.
Who is that?
That hot dog guy is Aloy, an amazing video game lead.
Thunderjaw went mad and is tearing through the valley.
Don't worry, I'll bring it down. This is gonna be fun. Yeah, right in the eye. And hot fire attack.
A lonely hero, hunting machines all by herself.
Hello, I have friends, you know.
Let's do this!
Right. A friendly hero, hunting with her pals.
Hey, whose side are you on?
Exploring,
Wow, what is this place?
collecting all the shiny things,
Woo, money!
and making a home.
Aloy, the Thunderjaw's back.
Oh, right, the Thunderjaw. Woo, that's a big one. Here we go. Down you go. Woo, better get a snack.
go. Wasn't that fun? That was LEGO Horizon Adventures, coming out later this year for PlayStation, but also day one on PC and Nintendo Switch. It's a playful, lighthearted story inspired by the world of Horizon, designed with two-player action in mind, supporting couch and online co-op. All right, now we're going to completely shift the tone to the next game from Torn Banner Studios, the developers behind Chivalry 2. For their next project, they are proud to announce No More Room in Hell 2, the sequel to the 2011 award-winning Source mod. 8 players start separate in the dark, and it's up to you to find your friends and survive with permadeath. Here is the first look. Coming this Halloween. Looks really, really intense. All right, to introduce our next game, please join me in welcoming someone who I've known for over a decade. She's been a huge fan of some of our reveals, like Street Fighter 6 a few years ago, and of course, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth last year when she was sitting in the audience. Well, this year, she's joining us on stage. We're thrilled to have her with us. Please welcome Curious Joy.
Thank you, Jeff. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here at Summer Game Fest. I'm here with you today to share some even more super fun trailers. So let's get straight to another world premiere. This is a highly anticipated game from a beloved franchise. Let's take a look.
As young witches and wizards, we all dream of soaring through the sky like our favorite heroes. When it comes to Quidditch, we've all wondered, do I have what it takes to be the next Quidditch star? To beat your toughest opponents? To keep your composure in the face of adversity? To chase your dreams at any price? To seek glory for your team? No challenge is too great. No dream is too big. So ask yourself, do you have what it takes? Do you have the heart of a Quidditch champion?
That's Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, launching worldwide on September 3rd for consoles and PC. Now we move from the Potterverse to a brand new world. It hails from a single developer, Gavin Eisenbeis, up in Seattle, who has been making games all by himself for a decade. His last title, Choo Choo Charles, was a fan favorite, and he showed me this next game a few months ago, and I really wanted to debut it here. Get ready to backstab, race, or cooperate with up to 20 of your friends in Cuff Bust. That's a fun one, right? And remember, that's all made by one person. Congratulations, Gavin. So glad to have that on stage. All right, next, one of this year's most anticipated games is Star Wars Outlaws, coming out on August 30th from Ubisoft and Lucasfilm Games, the first open-world Star Wars game where you live the life of a scoundrel. On Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific, you'll get to see a full gameplay showcase during Ubisoft's Forward event, streaming as part of the continuing Summer Game Fest events. But right now, we've got an exclusive new glimpse at the game, just a small taste of what's to come.
A friend needs a little something stolen.
Let's raise the stakes, shall we?
Hold tight!
We should get moving.
Think I spotted Lando there. So great. And by the way, I'm just noticing everything we're showing you so far, I think is going to be, coming out, this year, Cuff Bus. I'm not quite sure, but it's so cool that there's stuff that we're going to get to play in the next few months here. All right, well, moving back to smaller teams, a few weeks ago, I had a chance to play through this next game, and I have to say, it is really spectacular. Neva comes from Nomada Studio, the creators of the Game Award-winning game Grease. It chronicles the story of Alba, a woman bound to a curious wolf cub. Here's your first ever look at the gameplay. Trust me, that game is such a true work of art, especially when we get into some of the combat. It is tons of fun to play. And there's much more coming later today in the Devolver Direct, which will air directly after the Day of the Devs on this same stream. So we've got lots more for you. All right, next, it's time for our next game announcement.
Study the past if you would define the future.
All are architects of fate, working in these walls of time.
Let us all for death prepare, or on the last great journey fare.
Let me not then die ingloriously and without a struggle. But let me first do some great thing that shall be told among men hereafter.
Each of us shall endure this world's life until the end.
Your names shall not be lost.
So it shall be.
So it shall be.
Hello, everyone at Summer Game Fest. On behalf of the Firaxis team, we are thrilled to finally announce that Civilization 7 is coming day and date to PC and consoles next year. I'm in awe of the amazing team that has brought us to this moment, but we also have to thank you, our incredible fans around the world, for your overwhelming support of this franchise for over 30 years. We can't wait to share more, and we hope you'll join us later this summer for the full reveal of Civilization 7. In the meantime, stay civilized.
Perhaps humans were fated to build the monoliths, reaching heaven and returning with a gift. Stardust. But mankind was given more than it wished for. Not progress, but chaos. Every new height brings a terrible fall. And yet hope still glimmers. Even in the depths of the unknown, like mayflies, we die to live again. The smallest creatures show the greatest resilience. Wherever we remain standing, we stand together.
Have any of you faced Tyranids before? Only these past 2 days. Then there is much to learn. The numbers are endless. I will take you all with me. Brothers, we fight! Hiroshima!
All right, welcome back to Summer Game Fest. We've got some amazing developer guests joining us throughout the show, and I'm very excited to introduce our first guests. They are legendary creators who are working on a brand new fantasy RPG, Metaphor, slated to launch this October. Please welcome the director and art designer of Persona 3, 4, and 5, Katsura Hashino, and Shigenori Shojima.
ありがとうございます。アトラスの橋野です。今日は副島さんと一緒にこのステージに立ててとても光栄に思ってます。
Thank you, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here. My name is Hashino, and I am the director of Metaphor. It is a pleasure to be here with Mr. Soejima.
このゲームはね、アーキタイプという他のゲームでいうところのジョブですね。その姿に主人公たちが変身して明日の未来のために戦うというとても熱い RPG です。
This game is an RPG in which the party members transform into their jobs, which we call archetypes. These archetypes allow you to fight against your enemies.
アーキタイプは誰もが持つ不安と向き合うことによって覚醒する力です。すべてのアートワークは力強さとオリジナリティを意識して描いています。その総数は40種類以上にも及び、経験を積ませると一部のアーキタイプは進化することもできます。
Archetypes are the embodiment of power born from the will to face your fears and anxieties. We gave it our all to instill each and every archetype with a feeling of strength and uniqueness in each of their designs. In total, there will be more than 40 types of archetypes available in the game. These archetypes can gain experience and even evolve. Some of them can evolve into stronger versions.
メタファーはアトラスの RPG、我々が作ってきた RPG のノウハウをすべて結集させて作っています。とても大きなボリュームのゲームです。今日はこのアーキタイプをテーマにした最新のトレーラーをお持ちしました。ぜひご覧になってください。ありがとうございました。
So we are pouring all of our acquired expertise into this game to make it as exciting as possible. In fact, we've even brought our latest trailer today, which is centered around the topic of these archetypes. Thank you very much, and we hope you enjoy it.
It is said that we all have inherited heroic virtues deep within us. The reality is, we oppress, we fight. A great evil flows through this land. You have found a way to wield true magic. Many more protectors and followers will gather to your side. Remind people that the same powers lie dormant within them.
On guard!
You must acquire more archetypes and bring them together.
How's this? Gower! No holding back!
Now you've acquired a most interesting power. An archetype whose existence was only theoretical. You wield power now.
Yeah.
Such an honor to have Hoshino and Shojima with us on stage. Thank you guys, and for that deep look at the archetypes, such stunning visual designs. Now we're going to jump into the Arkhamverse. Batman Arkham Shadow is a MetaQuest 3 exclusive VR game coming later this year. As Batman, you face a new threat, the mysterious Rat King and his cultish devotees. Here's your first look at the story trailer for Batman Arkham Shadow.
There's a new darkness overtaking Gotham, driving the city mad. The only light left is from the fire in the streets, casting shadows of rats on everything that was once good. Fear is their weapon, they're not the only ones who can use it. The Rat King will stop at nothing to destroy my city. How far will I go to destroy him?
When the bat falls, the rats rise.
I am looking forward to heading back to the Arkhamverse. Now, it is time to update fans on a legendary fighting game franchise. And that includes me. Because I have been a fan of this series ever since one of its first iteration and have been playing each one ever since. So, let's check it out.
Test of power. I guess we'll see. This will be when the true battle begins.
You'll move into a million pieces, just like I did that earth. You talking about thrilling? Don't you dare! I'm not going to hell alone. You will only ride. Are you ready?
There you go, Internet. We got your release date for Sparking Zero, October 11th. Now we step into the world of Delta Force Hawk Ops, a free-to-play tactical shooter available to play on all platforms. Here's a look at their multiplayer FPS extraction mode.
Team, rally up. We've got a new mission. Operation Lightning Strike. The situation at Zero Dam is now very serious. The conflict's escalating between Havoc Corps and Alsara Guard. It's time to take action. Objective: collect and decode the Mando Brick located at the tourist center at the southeast region. We need to utilize terrain for stealth insertion. Execute swiftly and silently.
We're in position.
Looks like someone beat us to it. We need to pick up the pace.
Brenda, clean the balcony. On your mark. Balcony clear. Go, go, go! Clear the area. Shield down. I'm going in.
Shit! They've got a flamethrower! Engaging! Second floor! Ah! I got shot! They're coming up!
All clear. Prepare for decoding. That's all for mission briefing. The drill is over. Operation commences. Good luck.
But that is not all. The game's premium campaign mode, Black Hawk Down, is a reimagining of the original game that is also fully licensed to recreate moments from the award-winning Ridley Scott movie. Here is your world premiere first look at that gameplay.
Why are they burning tires? RPG! Hold on!
All units prepared for landing. 2 feet, 1 foot. Clear. Secure and capture a team in your cabinet. Over.
Get down! Get down! Enemy attack! Air strike! Enemy vehicles coming! Vehicle under attack!
And now, I have an update for you on Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. For real this time.
We're back here at Summer Game Fest, and that was a look at Mecha Break with its immersive aerial and ground combat with lightning-fast maneuvers. Next, Jason Blum and his Blumhouse banner have become synonymous with incredible horror films over the years, like Get Out, Megan, and last year's Five Nights at Freddy's. Well, now Blumhouse is entering Jason Blum and his Blumhouse banner have become synonymous with incredible horror films over the years, like Get Out, Megan, and last year's Five Nights at Freddy's. Well, now Blumhouse is entering the video game world in a big way.
Vengeance will take shape.
I cannot sleep. I cannot sleep. I must not sleep. I am terrified to sleep. And I am scared to death to stay awake.
Don't worry, Viv. If any ghosts actually show up, I'll protect you.
Amy?
I'll save you, no matter what. Just go home, Viv.
Amy!
The local police department asked me to help with a case. Why would they need a game designer? It should have some developer mode.
Dark times await us.
Please welcome Jason Blum, CEO and founder of Blumhouse, and Luis Blaine, creative lead at Blumhouse Games. Hey guys, so we got ourselves a full slate there. That's incredible. So Jason, tell us a bit about why did you want to get into games like this? What are we doing?
Well, we've been very, very busy. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having us. Thank you guys all. Great to hear the fans out there. You'll all be very happy to know we're working at this very minute on the sequel of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's coming. Don't worry. You'll all be very happy to know we're working at this very minute on the sequel of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's coming. Don't worry. Anyway, horror is, to my great relief, getting more and more popular. Our movies are working. It's working on streaming. It's working in live events. And we wanted to try and take our approach to movies and apply it to games. And that's what you see here. We're going to do independent games. We're going to look for creators and give them a platform and encourage these creators to be weird and subversive and find the most effed up, scariest things they can and put them into really cool games.
Well, they look great. It's a really diverse, cool slate. Luis, tell us a bit about, we saw a bunch of games there. What can you tell us about kind of the overall lineup of games?
Well, as you just saw from our slate, our horror games are a lot like Blumhouse movies. They come in many different flavors of fear, which means there's a horror game for everyone. So maybe you're a fan of nostalgic 90s experiences with a bit of a twist, intense first-person shooters, or maybe, Jeff, you just want some bonus murder in your otherwise very cozy farming sim. I think, we as horror fans, we know that there are so many different subgenres to explore, and our independent development partners, they feel the same, and they're just as excited, which means we've got psychological nightmares, we have supernatural scares, we have cosmic horror. And our team has worked really hard to work with global, creative, talented partners. And that means for us that we really want to as we're working in indie projects, which means that we can take risks. You know, we can be flexible, and really we can push the limits of what's possible in scary storytelling, and we're so excited.
Yeah, no, it looks awesome, all the stuff you have there. And I know, you know, we'll get into when games are coming out, but some of these are coming soon, Jason, right? We got a good slate.
Well, yeah, we're on PC and console, and yeah, we wanted to start with not just one, but we wanted to start with a few games. So you want to tell us about those?
Yeah, so Fear the Spotlight is our first release coming later this year, and it really hits our mission statement. It's an amazing 90s horror experience. It's got great characters, a compelling narrative. It's also super creepy, and I think people will be big fans of it, even if you're not normally into horror. And quickly, actually, Fear the Spotlight is getting its first trailer as part of the Day of the Dev showcase, so stay tuned after the show.
Directly after. Awesome. Well, I know this is just the start, so we'll probably be seeing you in future years with more from Blumhouse Games. But guys, what do you think of the slate? Pretty amazing, right? What these guys are pulling off. Jason, Luis, thanks so much for being here on Summer Game.
Thank you, guys.
All right. And now here's the world premiere of a brand new Power Rangers game with a retro feel.
Muted. Oh no, I'm muted. Sorry. Apologies. Rita's Rewinds. Okay, so they're kind of doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge kind of vibe on this thing. So that's cool. I don't know how long I was muted. Apologies. I do that on occasion. I was gonna say this looked like the Lego Fortnite's area, but Lifeline? Oh. Cute little reindeer. Deer or reindeer, I don't know. Ooh. This looks real nice. Oh, that doesn't. Mutating boar or something like that? Well, that's not great. Wait, what's up the face of the human there? Oh. Deep? Deer and Boy, okay. Oh, I thought Deep. Deer and Boy. Okay, that's PC.
What a beautiful game, Deer and Boy, which comes from first-time developer Jason Houdet in Paris, who started that project alone in 2020 during the pandemic and now has a team of 8 helping him realize his vision with financial aid from the French government. And games like that are why we do this show, giving first-time developers a chance to show you what they're working on. All right, next, after a long wait, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is arriving later this year. This is a first-person open-world action RPG from Warhorse Studios. Here is a brand new look.
The best laid plans of men don't always come to fruition. Man proposes, but God disposes.
God disposes.
and then boots you right in the balls. These two young fellas, I need to find
Never
them.
played the original game.
One's a smart-ass
Mainly
set,
for reasons of,
and the
say,
other's a
related to
blue-blooded fledgling.
You behave like a
Daniel
spoiled
Vavra,
brat.
him being like one of the lead devs, if not the director of the game, being very much involved in Gamergates and all that. He's supposedly gotten better as a person since then, but doesn't make me
for what we should have done,
too hopeful.
but lacked
But
the courage to do.
The last time I ran
I think I
away,
have
lost
a
everything.
couple of free copies of this through like Epic Game Store or whatever.
Fucker again.
Kiss our asses!
Maybe I'll check one of those out at some point, but
Retribution for my sins.
I believe this is still through Embracer, so I don't exactly have a ton of faith for that. You know, this has been very white. They are supposed to have more variety of skin colors on people. They have a date? No, 2024. Okay.
Next, we step into the dark mind of Silent Hill creator Keiichiro Toyama-san. Back in 2021, we announced
he
his
got
new
that.
game Slitterhead at the Game
Yeah,
Awards.
Slitterhead.
Now we're giving you a look at the gameplay from his independent Tokyo-based studio.
Yeah, is this the guy that was the creator of the studio that did Siren and what was the other game with Cat? I forget. They did a. I can look it up. Look, yeah, Game Studio. The wiki page would lead me through that. Keiichiro Toyama. Gravity Rush. Who's also the creator of Silent Hill. When did he stop working on Silent Hill? Also produced various sequels, left in 1999 after the first game. So he left out very early after the first game to join, yeah, Sony's Japan Studios, where he worked on Siren, similar kind of ideas, but based on different kinds of Japanese horror. Slitterhead here has its own wild stuff going on. Yeah, these like mantis-looking enemies. Looks more action-y though. You got Biker Man. Oh, you can swap between them. Okay. Oh. Guy's arm cut off and just brought it back on. Okay. Okay, there's something here. Oh. There's something interesting there. Number 8th. Ooh. Okay. Wait, what? These are like potato heads? This looks like a
That's
butthead.
what I call a dramatic entrance. There's a reason why I'm called Killer Bean. It's because I'm good at what I do. Really.
For a second I thought these were McDonald's chicken nuggets characters. So if you don't know, what the hell?
I used to be an assassin for the Shadow Agency. An international organization powerful enough to shape the
What?
world.
This is ridiculous.
And tried to kill me.
Now,
I'm gonna destroy them.
So back in the day, they used to have McDonald's nuggets, like toys in a Happy Meal.
Well, it is sure nice to meet you. Before you die.
That kind of looked like that. This kind of shape. See if I can find them. Yeah, just like this. How would I get this?
They made me who I am, and I will make them pay for it.
Killer Bean?
Glad you liked that one. That was Killer Bean, a third-person roguelike shooter made by another single developer, believe it or not, right here in Los Angeles, Jeff Liu.
I was going to enter that discourse.
On movies like The Matrix Reloaded.
Let's see if I can throw in an image real quick.
In this industry. All right, to introduce their brand new game, please welcome from the Game Bakers, a small independent studio in Montpellier, France, Audrey Leprince and Emmerich Toa.
Image.
Hello,
no, this
Jeff,
would be browser, I think.
I'm very happy to be here. When we created our studio, Emmerich and I, we promised each other to always come up with something new. So after Fury and Haven, we're here to introduce our new game, Cairn, a survival climber. When I was a teenager, my dad prepared an expedition to Mount K2.
Apologies for
but
that.
Half of his team didn't come back. And I've always wondered, why do alpinists risk their lives in such extreme conditions? This is something we wanted to explore in Cairn.
Cairn is a game about what it takes to go beyond your limits. You climb a mountain to reach a summit never reached before. And the climbing gameplay is the challenge. It's very intense and realistic. It's a face-off between you and the mountain. And what you're going to see in the trailer is not from cutscenes. It's the actual climbing gameplay. You can see more later today during Day of the Devs, but now let's have a look.
Probably do this in studio mode. Cancel this. I'm gonna pull up random stuff here. That'll just be window capture, wouldn't it? So for a split second, I will show this. This is what I was talking about with the Killer Bean thing. There, that's what I was talking about. Oh no, that's not it. There it is. There we go. Exactly what that reminds me of. Remove that. So those are like a bunch of characters they had in Happy Meal toys, and that's what that reminded me of for obvious reasons. So it looks just like that. Cairn. Oh, Cairn. Okay. From the Game Bakers. Oh, Stanley Parable in the Beginner's Guide. Okay.
I'm a fighter. I'm meant to be in the arena, in combat. But instead, I'm out here in the middle of the woods, running a tea shop. So, what does running a tea shop involve? Well, there's a lot of gardening, and I've had to get used to the pretty unique tea machine they've got here.
Oh, interesting.
None of these tasks are all that hard, they just take patience. And I'm not really the patient type, but I'm surviving. Of course, I have to actually serve the tea to our customers. And once that's done, I'll I'll usually check in with Boro, the guy who owns
The knight just like trying to figure out how to pour this into his face.
And when all the chores are done, sometimes I'll just
Interesting that
and do
that guy, the Stanley Parable guy, would want to make this life sim.
But it's peaceful. And what's weird is that I actually feel good. I'm happy. I can stop running now. I can stop. I can stop. I can stop.
This YouTube chat is very stupid.
This is good for
Just
me.
people complaining when they're.
Enjoy this. I feel good. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Then I forgot that you can like pay to boost a message on YouTube streams. All right, PS5.
That was Wonderstop, the announcement of the next game from Davey Redden, the creator of the Stanley Parable. I sense there's a twist coming, as you would expect from him in Ivy Road. Cannot wait to play that. All right, now here's a look at the story trailer for Unknown 9 Awakening, a narrative action-adventure game that tells the story of Haruna, a young woman born with the ability to venture into the fold, a dimension that overlaps our own.
Turn your thoughts inward and focus on your shade. Do you feel it?
I do.
Your progress is impressive lately, Haruna.
These are incredible.
They called themselves the Sahin. 9 among them were chosen and shielded from death.
The Unknown 9. Does this have anything to do with why Vincent is here?
Humanity has lived for eons at the mercy of the Nine. It's time we took control of our own destiny.
Why are you so interested in Vincent, anyhow?
He killed someone I loved.
Remember stepping. Find your target and bridge the gap.
You don't belong here.
You're wrong. This is exactly where I'm meant to be.
Oh, this is that stealth game. Unknown 9, okay. I want to say this is Xbox exclusive on the console front. Oh, maybe they changed that. This was part of the Xbox showcase earlier this year. Oh, okay. It's coming to others.
Hey! How about we see the world together?
I finally have something. Something that I want to protect.
I'll steal your heart. Adventure starts.
Oh yeah, Monster Hunter Stories. These are ads. These are out next week. Capcom Summer Deals. Rise is really cheap now. You can get Rise and Sunbreak, the expansion, for $20 most places. Street Fighter V is 50% off, yeah. And you get it with the character pass, the first 4 characters for like the deluxe edition's like $42 compared to $30 for the game. So some decent discounts on that stuff.
Delusion taken form walks into my great hall. Feel honored to fight a legend. On guard! To your greatest final chapter.
That's just PC, the Power Rangers game? That's a shame. Looks interesting. Oh. Wait, the masks are attached to their face? Like, not their other face? Okay, so you can take over their... their roles to sneak through. I know Trio, the last song. Okay, this... Okay, I know this game. September 19th, okay. No Trio.
All right, we're back here live for more Summer Game Fest. The First Descendant, powered by Unreal Engine 5, is a next-gen looter shooter with dynamic cooperative gameplay.
Jeff, don't use that dumb name.
Mechanic. It is finally set for release, and we're very happy here to debut the new trailer and the reveal of the release date.
Oh, this is the First Descendant? I played the demo for this. This is pretty cool. It's got some of the ideas that Destiny has, but I think it's third person. Yeah, they're not mentioning any platforms outside of the PC thing. That's a shame. I assume it'll come to everything, but I don't know. Like a similar idea of to Destiny, of like the last human city kind of thing that you're protecting by doing missions and all that. I might need to run to the restroom and give us a minute to see where this goes. Free to play, I believe, so yeah, I played the beta and probably got some unlocks, I don't know. July 2nd, ooh. Alright, I'm going to go to the restroom, I'll be right back.
That looks awesome. The First Descendant will be available across PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. Wishlisted now and prepare for the release on July 2nd. And now, please welcome two developers whose hit indie game, Among Us, took the world by storm in a couple of game awards. From Inner Sloth, here are Victoria Tran and Forrest Willard.
Oh no. What's up, gamers?
Can you believe they just let us be on this stage? Like, no chaperones. Like,
I know. Can we announce something totally fake?
Oh,
Do you
like-
think they'll let us do that?
Among Us 2? Among Us 3? 4? Oh, all right. Well, turns out we actually have something very real we wanted to present to you all today. There's been so many great indie games in recent years, but it's also been no secret that it's kind of a rough time in the industry. Some devs don't really get the chance they deserve, so we thought we could help out a little bit. That's why we're excited to announce our side project, Outer Sloth, an indie game fund we made that offers the kind of deals we would have wanted back in our less popular Among Ye days.
This is our way of saying thank you to our crewmates, players, peers, by helping some games and devs have the funding and freedom needed to ship their games. And then we all get to play them, which was the real plan. I really want games. Outer Sloth is our passion project and dream for a better, more sustainable industry. We are really excited and incredibly nervous to reveal it here and show you the current lineup of games we've managed to fund because of you. And don't worry, Jeff, it has your favorite, a ton of world premieres. Enjoy!
Dean from ShapeShot, and you may already be playing our first game, Mars First Logistics.
We're Trinket Studios, creators of Battle Chef Brigade, and this is our card battler RPG, Battle Suit Aces.
We are Studio NE%, and we're making the Marsfield Archives, a game about building and exploring connections.
Hi, we're Midnight Munches. We just released a demo for one-button bosses, our boss rush game, with a single button to press and a ton of bosses to beat.
Hey, I'm Husband, game director at Huscrofts, and this is Rogue Eclipse, our epic spaceflight action roguelike, where you'll have to customize and master your starfighter, take on merciless armadas, and vanquish a fleet of colossal super destroyers.
And we do have one more game that's very early in development.
Hi, I'm Eka, creative director of Outer Loop Games, makers of Thirsty Suitors and Falcon Age. In our new game, explore the world in an upgradable mech and cook up tasty dishes for local communities. Fight off corpos, discover new dosa recipes, and reunite with your strange loved ones for one last meal. Project Dosa is a game about life, death, love, and food for the soul.
Thanks, Victoria and Forrest. Those all look fantastic, and I cannot wait to play them. But all of those amazing indie games aren't the only thing coming out of Inner Sloth. Did you know that there's going to be an Among Us TV show? Sounds like you did. Yes, there's going to be an Among Us TV show. Check out this sneak peek. Up next, we have Sonic X Shadow
All
Generation.
right, apologies for that, but hey, some cool stuff.
A definitive greatest hit collection of 3D and 2D levels from Sonic and Shadow's history. Now it's time for a glimpse of Shadow's brand new powers and gameplay from a standalone campaign, as well as the official release date announcement.
Oh yeah, this is the Sonic Generations. It's like Sonic Shadow Generations. I guess what it's called. It's something a little bit weird, but basically you have a Shadow in there. You have Modern Sonic, Retro Sonic, and then Shadow, the Hedgehog. Here's what's shown on the. Let's see. Yeah, October 25th. Okay. Sonic Adventure Legacy skin. Oh, is that low poly? That's pretty cool.
The Year of Shadow, right? A movie coming in December too. Exciting stuff. All right. In the upcoming online survival game Dune Awakening from Funcom, there is one small decision that unleashed a chain of events which set the stage for the story the player will experience. Let's find out for the first time.
Where does this fit in with the show?
The only peace I find is a future that never happened. One where I, Paul Atreides, was never born. created the future. Until
He looks like Winter Soldier.
But I see a narrow way, a path that might have been. What if my mother had
Sebastian
obeyed
Stan.
her orders?
That's what he looks
given
like.
birth to a girl.
It's a little weird, but I'll allow it.
Everything would change. Dr. Yue exposed before his betrayal. A world where my father lives. House Atreides surviving the Battle of Arrakeen. Sardaukar deployed to protect the spice melange. A war of assassins spreading across the planet. Fremen exterminated.
Oh, what's this? Oh.
No Muad'Dib. No Lisan al-Gaib. No Kwisatz Haderach. All of my visions lead
looks
to
like
horror.
Sebastian Stan with a
except for this one.
A nice looking beard. So
this one leads to you.
pretty sure this is already out in early access, but oh, this is the
More
MMO.
Dune
Okay.
Awakening coming at Gamescom ONL in August. Now it is time to see the announcement of another new game from a brand new development studio.
They definitely paid some anime studio to do this trailer here, because this Battle Aces. Okay.
To
What
tell
platforms?
us more about Battle Aces and show
Okay.
you the gameplay, here's David Kim from Uncapped Games.
Thanks, Jeff. So Battle Aces is the RTS game for everyone.
Oh.
It's for players that are brand new to RTS as well as RTS veterans. We really want to bring the core fun of RTS to everybody, kind of like how games such as World of Warcraft did for MMOs or Hearthstone did for card games. So Battle Aces is an action-packed army versus army game that has a high emphasis on the strategy. We want to bring this type of very specific RTS fun to players in two major ways. First, we want to amplify both the in and out of game strategizing through unit decks. And what makes unit decks very cool is not only will players be able to
Unit
define
decks?
the exact
Huh.
way that they wish to play, but also players
That's
will be able
interesting. I don't
to
know.
experience an endless possibility of strategies. Second, we want to eliminate the tedious clicks required to play an RTS as much as possible so that players playing this game are experiencing only the fun parts of playing an RTS game. So, if you want to learn more about Battle Aces, or if you want to sign up for our beta test that's coming up very soon, then please make sure to visit our website at playbattleaces.com. Thank you.
I guess now it's PC only, so
Thank you, David. That was fantastic. All right. Our next premiere unveils the exciting new destination for a game that shadow dropped at the Game Awards last year, the Finals, with its unparalleled destruction wrapped in the world's most deadly game show. Now, after dozens of updates in 2 seasons, we're unveiling where contestants will be going in the all-new season starting next week on June 13th. Sharpen your katanas and welcome to Season 3 of the Finals.
If they hit that reset button, it can take us anywhere.
this game had a nice start, and it seems like people just kind of got tired of it. So they've got their work cut out for them to gain people back, which seems to be like having weird costumes and all that, so. Okay, new arena. New ranked mode, okay. There's also the game that uses AI for some announcer stuff that kind of just doesn't work out super well. I don't know. Are they trying to put... trying to like push people to
All right.
do more
Please
competitive
welcome
stuff in the
multiple
game, like
Awards
going
winner
to tournaments
and
and
a
all that.
dazzling Game Awards performer, if I do say so myself, Sam Lake from Remedy.
I think that's enough. Thank you. Hi. You see, this is now the only way they let me come on stage to tell you something exciting news about Alan Wake 2. Many of you have been posting your Remedy game collection pictures on your shelves with Alan Wake
they're going to do a
2
physical version
so
of this.
far, digital only, sadly missing. Well, we are excited to announce
Who are they partnering with?
physical deluxe editions and physical collector's editions for Alan Wake 2 coming this fall. You can lock in your copy starting tomorrow. Next, we promised you some expansion content for Alan Wake 2, right? I'm thrilled to introduce you all to Night Springs. It contains 3 episodes with 3 familiar, fan-favorite, playable characters in mysterious, terrifying, and quirky what-if scenarios. It was a chance for us to really go out there, as if we already didn't. Night Springs will be playable.
Oh, they're doing it now?
In less than 24 hours.
Oh.
Tomorrow. Thank you. Now, with this world premiere, I invite you to step into Night Springs.
Night Springs, a special place, a shifting space, existing in a countless number of parallel realities. Different every time we set upon the road that leads us there, and yet always familiar to us. In Night Springs.
I'm in danger. Please, my #1 fan. You're the only one who can save me.
And I will come back for you, my love.
Oh.
Cut. Sean, I'm really happy.
This is gonna get strange.
Jesse Faden, okay.
I was the only one who could save the writer and the very soul of literature.
Something was different.
That's cool. So is it the actor behind that guy from Quantum?
Well, I gotta... Wait, that's a real shotgun?
Who can ever truly know how deep the rabbit hole goes in Night Springs?
It goes with deluxe edition. Okay. Included with the deluxe edition. I don't think I have it. I think I have the base version. I need to play the game before I think about any expansion stuff.
To these mythical shores, seeking mastery over death itself. A cruel and beautiful paradise where primal forces clash.
I definitely have to go back to this and watch it to get all the details.
Where ancient mysteries awaken.
Oh, this is...
Heroes are forged. And demons are born.
I know the game. New World, yeah. I was like, this looks like an Amazon, one of the games Amazon did. Okay. Oh. October 15th. Okay.
That's right. New World Eternum will launch on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 15th. And now you can play the game start to finish as a solo player or play co-op and use cross-play.
It's like an MMO game.
If you're watching SGF
so they're...
on TikTok Live right now, you can comment
I misspelled the hell
HSR in
out
the
of
chat
this
to
name.
claim a special in-game bundle for
Air
Honkai Star
Turnum.
Rail of Stellar Jade from
Eternum.
TikTok Game Rewards. And speaking of Honkai Star Rail, HoYoverse's latest space fantasy RPG just concluded its version 2.3 special program a few hours ago. But there's more. A sneak peek at the upcoming expedition featuring a beloved character who is clearly ready for the forthcoming journey with her brand new look.
Why do people choose to
I
sleep?
played this for like 10 hours and enjoyed my time with that, but
Afraid to wake up from the dream.
I just don't have the time to invest in this or Genshin Impact that much.
Land of dreams. The nightmarish past will disperse and fade away like bubbles in water, and the future that you don't want to face will never come.
Yeah, they got a new update coming with some new characters, so and new things to do, so that's the thing you can do.
Why do people choose to slumber? Because in the end, we will wake from our dreams. War dance? I can't miss out. I'm joining too.
Was she not playable? I was pretty sure she was. Iron Mace. The dungeon crawler, dark and darker. Okay, so you can co-op with people. This looks like Skyrim combat. Just having that health bar right in the middle of the screen seems to tell me that. You try and like collect as much loot as you can, or get out, or try your luck and get more. Okay. You got like a druid character. Seems like 2 players. Okay, that's 3. Dark and darker. Okay. Steam and Epic. Okay.
There you have it, the unforgiving fantasy FPS dungeon PvPvE adventure, Dark and Darker, is now live on both Steam and Epic Games Store today. So play it this weekend. All right. Lots of fans are joining us here in person at the YouTube Theater, and we thank you for that. And ahead of the show, 4 lucky fans were upgraded to our VIP section thanks to the Discover Orange Ticket upgrade. With Discover, you don't have to be a VIP to be treated like one. All right, now here's the announcement of the release date for Capcom's upcoming Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess.
Kunitsugami Yeah, this is going to be on Game Pass at launch, so it'd probably be the place to check it out. See if it goes anywhere. Okay. Oh. Batsu, okay. Okay, soon. Oh, this is Hyperlight Breaker. I want to say it's confirmed for consoles. Or campaign co-op, okay. 3 people? Yeah, people like Hyperlight Drifter a lot, though. There's also a lot of people that didn't quite get into it, so I'm curious to see how this one does it. It's got a little bit of Breath of the Wild to it. Maybe a little like Risk of Rain. Oh, just Steam. Okay. I thought that was at one of the console showcases. Yeah, this is a Game Pass game. It was like Best Friends, something like that. Are they adding like power-ups? Wait, what? Does it have like Uno in it? That's weird. Oh, here's the skate thing.
May have heard the stories about the fine people here.
Oh, they got
So we wanted to
Tim
take
Robinson.
this time to dispel any of these completely unfounded rumors and allegations.
Oh,
and
man.
reassure you that things here at MCorp and the city of San Amsterdam.
He's a
have
skateboarder.
never
He's done
been
videos of
better.
himself
Things are
skateboarding,
going
and he's
great here.
pretty
We have
decent at it.
Absolutely nothing to hide from the citizens. Everybody here
Which
at
does not
MCorp
seem like a thing that
loves
Tim
this
Robinson
town.
would
We
be
think this town
better than you think it.
rules. Why would we hear a town that rules? I can't stop thinking about how you're saying we're selling the city for scraps. That makes me sick. That makes my whole family sick to their stomachs. My wife hasn't been on the toilet for weeks because of what you're saying about
You
what
just let him
MCorp's
write this
doing
whole
to this
bit?
town, all those lies. Everyone in MCorp is really good.
Stop crying, all right? This is business. Look around, pal. This is how businesses are run. Now, you should have known that when you were hired on, okay? Jack, tissues. Come on, pal. Ah!
That's not about this. That's a
Okay.
father and son. That's actually a home issue. We love it here at MCorp, and we are not going anywhere. We'll be here a long time. Fine. Nobody panic.
Wait, what? I bet the people there do not know what that was all about.
And now let's head to Sam
The
Amsterdam
MCorp
for a
website
new look
dot,
at Skate from EA.
Hey, Jeff.
It's
how
not
you
working.
doing, bud?
It's down.
Oh.
Oh, there it is.
Crap.
Oh, this is like
Bad
a
stuff's happening out there. They're gonna need a lot of help cleaning that
Sam
up.
Amsterdam's. Okay. Well, the links to social media, they have Twitter written down and crossed it out in The web code, put X in there. Okay. File a complaint. Okay. I'm gonna click on this file a complaint thing. Oh, okay. They just went into a skate trailer from there. Okay. Okay. I was wondering if we were gonna get console play testing this fall. Okay. They've been working on this for quite a while. I'm
Very
curious.
exciting that people will finally be able to play Skate on console in the near future. Our next world premiere is an indie sensation from Japan that is adorable, deadly, and has over 25 million players worldwide. That's right, I'm talking about Pow World. I mean, just look at the giant depresso. Cheer up, buddy. It's Summer Game Fest. Now, here is the first major update announcement. A whole new island is coming.
Okay. What happened to the arena thing they announced earlier this year? Did that already come out? Okay, they got their poison swamp area. Ghosts and mimics. And the guy that looks like, I don't know. Okay, dedicated servers. Building and level cap. Buildings and level cap, okay. Subspecies, oh. Like variants. Stronghold oil rig, okay. Sakurajima, June 27th. Okay.
That was high on the Steam charts. Congrats to Pow World on the new update. Next up, we've got a big announcement from Valorant. Here's Andy Ho and Anar Gilfison from the Valorant dev team. Guys.
Oh, Valorant. Okay.
Thanks, Jeff. Hey, everyone. Since 2020, we have been
Yeah, I saw
fortunate
they
to
had a
serve
tweet
players
basically
in their
saying they were going to
pursuit
show
of
something,
what
so
we call the Valorant moment. The big plays and clutches you make while all eyes are on you.
Millions of players all over the world have earned their own Valorant moments on PC. And today, the stage is set to welcome a whole new group of players. Let's take a look.
Target down.
I'm sure this is licensed music for this, so that's great for us.
Reeling them
Not played this game, so I don't know what this trailer's showing that's new. Oh, okay. I was wondering kind of, is there a console thing coming? Pre-limited beta. Okay.
That was Valorant's core tactical gameplay. Everything you just saw was captured on console and with a controller. Valorant is coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S this year. Our limited beta starts June 14th, and you can sign up right now at beta.playvalorant.com.
We are so excited for your input to make sure that Valorant plays great on console. And we hope to see you soon in the limited beta. But before we go, here's the head of Valorant Studio,
site's not ready.
Anna Donlin.
Thanks, guys. Hey, everyone. One of my favorite things about Valorant has been seeing the community build the game and the sport right along with us. For the last 4 years, we have been on the most amazing journey, bringing Valorant to players all around the world, most recently to China, where I'm currently at Valorant Masters, one of our largest global tournaments and community celebrations. Seeing the community evolve as new players bring their passion and expression to Valorant has been the biggest joy of the ride so far. And now we are ready and so
I did just
excited
Valorant.com
to welcome
is
a
like
whole new group of players onto new platforms. We hope you'll join us, and we can't wait to see where you take us next.
What? What is this about? Oh. I didn't know that we needed all of this, but okay. Okay. I don't have a Riot account, so I don't think. I've not played any of their games. Age is under maintenance. Oh, that's the M Corp thing. Invest. They have a this M Corp website says invest. Invest space in space vest. So okay. Oh god.
Exciting to have Riot on console with Valorant. Thanks to the team at Riot for sharing that with us here at SGF. Our next announcement is a big deal from our friends at DoorDash. 5 weeks of deals with Summer of Dash Pass. Sign up for Dash Pass now for $0 delivery fees and get 50% off your next DoorDash order. Now, here in the audience, we've got a guy who is normally co-streaming our shows, Yang Ya, who is also an amazing voice actor, who's been in countless games such as Like a Dragon and God of War Ragnarok. Well, next week, Yang is going to be voicing a character in a movie, Inside Out 2, where he plays a fictional video game character, Lance Slashblade. And we've got your exclusive first look. Check this out.
Welcome to your eternal fate.
Entity that does not have a pair?
But he's a video game character. Why is he here?
Yeah, I always thought Riley had a secret crush on him.
I never saw the appeal.
I long to be a hero, but darkness haunts my past.
I'm in 100%.
We were all banished here, deemed unfit, worthless.
Don't you dare say that! You do not deserve to be thrown away!
1 second, Lance. Don't you remember his power move?
I'm coming for you, Riley!
Oh, yeah? Watch this! Come on! No one is totally worthless.
But I am a warrior cursed with a feeble attack.
Then you must make your curse your gift.
Shield yourself, my friends, for I shall set you all free!
The #1 gaming monitor brand in the U.S., Samsung, just
What was
released new
that?
2024 monitors for gaming, work, and entertainment.
Thought it was a
Scan the
game,
QR
but
code
then
now
it
to get up to
said in
$300
theaters.
Samsung credit when you purchase through June 17th, plus a chance to win $5,000 Samsung credit for U.S. residents.
Summer Game Fest 2024! Look at all of you cooped up watching video game announcements. And yes, Chicken does look a lot like Ken Jeong. And today, Chicken is excited
Yeah,
to
this
share
site
a
is
new
down.
game that Chicken and Chicken's buddies are in called Squad Busters. You fight monsters, collect lots of shiny things, and Chicken has a big role. That's all that matters. And here is our big ad. Squad up. I mean, cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo!
What's going on? Who are you?
Look at your phone. I'm the chicken.
We're here to make your life more fun.
I'm fine. I drink right out of the carton.
I don't think you know the definition of fun.
Come on, get up. I am butt naked from the waist down, so...
Get out of the f***ing bed, dude.
Get out of the bed.
All right.
Tell me about yourself.
I think I'm an excellent candidate for the job because
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
He is a bridge.
He's one of
And,
the most equitable people I've ever met.
Great.
Will Arnett.
Also, I pillaged a few villages. I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I'm just a lumberjack.
I think you're qualified.
Not sure who the two women are.
Which is why you'll have the job.
Congratulations.
What's the parking like?
There's more where that came from.
Oh, I hope not.
guys, maybe everything isn't a squad activity.
Just relax your bowels, your mind.
Is that Christina Ricci is the witch lady? Oh good, just put some licensed music in here. I'm gonna mute it because I don't need that on the stream. Okay.
Pathetic.
No, that's not Christina.
Jinx.
Wait, what?
Jinx. No, you Jinx. You supposed to be a lumberjack?
Oh god, not Nickelback cheese. Nope, still doing it.
I think our job here is done.
Okay, good.
Where are you going? You can't leave.
We ain't never.
Probably pissing everybody off. That's
Here.
like, what is this?
That came from inside me.
This is too long for an ad.
You want me to shut the door or?
God.
All right, please join me in welcoming to the SGF stage Monster Hunter series producer, Mr. Ryozo Tujimoto. Ryozo-san!
はい、サンキュージェーン。今日はですね、モンスターハンターワイルズの、最新の映像を持ってまいりました。今回ですね、はですね、後半にですね、完全新規で、今回初お披露目の大型のモンスターも出てきてますので、そちらも注目していただけたらと思います。
Thank you, Jeff. Hello, everyone. We've prepared a very special
We're
trailer
almost done
today
here. I
for
think we're supposed to be
Summer
done in the
Game
next 10 minutes
I
or
want
so.
everyone to be on the lookout for a very mysterious large monster near the end of the trailer, as it's an important monster within the game.
はい、本作ではですね、没入感とアクション、こちらの融合を目指して開発を進めておりま
I'm
す。
excited for this game.
モ
I
ンスター
don't.
ハンターワイルズは2025年にプレイステーション5、Xbox シリーズ XS、そして PC で同時発
I
売
wondered how they were going to do that in Japanese,
また
but
今回はですね、プラットフォームの垣根を越えて一緒に遊ぶことができますので、そちらも楽しんでいただけたらと思っています。
As you'll see, we're working to deliver a gaming experience that merges immersion and action. I hope players look forward to playing with their friends across different platforms when the game launches simultaneously in 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
はい、最後になりますが、8月に行われるゲームズコンのオープニングナイトライブ、こちらの方でも新しい映像を持っていきますので、皆さん楽しみにしていただけたらと思っております。またですね、ゲームズコンではですね、
I clicked on the register of a beta, now it's like, you're good.
で出展も考えておりますので、そちらもぜひ楽しみにしていただけたら
We'll
と
send
思
out
っています。
personal referral links
Last week, there
for
will
up
be a
to
new
5
trailer
other
for
friends.
Monster
So
Hunter Wilds at Opening Night Live at Gamescom in August. And our first public hands-on playable demo of Monster Hunter Wilds will also debut at Gamescom. Thank you.
Over there!
Why are you here?
You can't do this alone!
We need to shake them off! Follow me! Yeah! Here it comes!
There's too many of them!
Watch out for that glove!
one of these links to
I will draw its iron!
being insider play testing. Okay.
You got it. Be careful.
Be ready! If we can make it to the rocks, we may lose them! As I feared, it picked up our scent.
I'll handle it. You find someplace safe.
Thank you.
There's a hot single slices in your area thing on this MCorp website. It's real good.
Don't worry, the hunter is here. Just watch. You'll see what hunting is all about.
I don't know enough about the
Thank you,
monsters to
Ryoza-san. We will see you at
know how to react to
Gamescom
that
in
other part,
August.
but okay.
Now, during last year's PlayStation Showcase, the game Phantom Blade Zero from S-Game wowed us all with its blazing fast combat and stylish art. Well, I'm honored to share with you the brand new trailer for the game featuring all real gameplay. Here's our final game of the show, Phantom Blade Zero.
How many days do I have left? 42 or 41?
The Faceless is here!
Don't go up there. Turn back before it's too late.
Yeah, this looks like a Souls-like. I'll be honest, I forgot what this website is. What this game is, so I'm just gonna go to Twitter. Okay. Phantom Blade Zero.
That looks so good. Full demo that media will be playing this weekend, so you'll hear much more about that. And that's going to do it for our Summer Game Fest live show. Thanks to Joy for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. I had such an amazing time. Happy
Yeah, that was
Summer Game
confirmed for
Fest,
PlayStation.
everyone.
Thanks,
I
Joy.
just
And we
missed.
have so much more, so stay tuned because Day of the Devs is coming up live right now on the stream, featuring an hour of indie game reveals, including the next game from Cappy, and that's followed by Devolver Direct. Now keep checking SummerGameFest.com for other event streams this weekend, and we'll see you again live this August 20th in Germany for Gamescom Opening Night Live. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember, Day of the Devs starts right now.
Okay. So yeah, they're kind of going right into that. I'm going to turn it down, or you kind of turn way down, but not going to stream that, not for any sort of quality reasons, just I would like to get some dinner and do some stuff so I can stream a little bit later, probably stream around 9 o'clock, so have fun with that. About 2 hours from now, so I'd like to get something to eat and enjoy. And so yeah, let me check how the size of this video looks, because I might be able to upload it if it's not too big. Well, it seems like it should be alright. What's going on? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what's his background here on this video, and it's like, it's because it's the bezel around the video here. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back for some more streaming this weekend. I'll go through Steam and look through the demos and such, see if there's any demos of interest. Otherwise, I might just stream some Nightmare Cart, because I've been wanting to check that out. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Have a good one. See you next time. Bye-bye. I think I just ended the recording. Okay, that's fine. Bye-bye. Substream.